Let me ask you something. How many times have you told yourself, I'll start when I'm ready? When life's easier? When things calm down? Or when the timing's right? The truth is that moment never comes. And today's guest proves it. She went from homelessness, chaos, and hitting rock bottom to completely rebuilding her life from the inside out. No perfect timing, no easy path, just a decision to move forwards. So this isn't a fluffy conversation, this is a real life struggle and real transformation. So if you've been waiting for a sign, this might be it. This is Unplugged and Unstoppable. Let's go.
Well, welcome back to Unplugged and Unstoppable, the podcast that's here to showcase people who've overcome adversity, transformed their lives, and now become totally unstoppable. And one such person I'm delighted to have on today is Michelle Hogg. Hi, Michelle. How are you doing?
Hi, thank you so much. I love that intro. I'm like, yes, that is all the things. But no, thanks for having me on. Honestly, I love your podcast, what you stand for, and what you're doing as well. And I love that. Creating things to become unstoppable.
Thanks, Michelle. Well, life's hard enough these days, isn't it? And particularly
Well,
what's going on in the world today, so much adversity, so many things that almost seem designed to keep you down, keep you low, keep you trapped.
absolutely.
Financially, mentally,
Scared.
spiritually, you
Mhm.
know, everywhere you look, there's some kind of negative drag on your
Mhm.
soul. And so today's conversation really is about your journey. And, if perhaps you could take us back, because today you're a coach, an author, and a speaker, and a business owner. And we're going to learn all about that later. But what what would surprise people most about your old life when we start to talk about today's subject?
Yeah, well, to be honest, I think some people when you see people now and they say like, oh, like author, coach, or speaker, different things, you must just think, oh, that person's been like that for their whole life. It's just it's a thing. But actually, you know, I started off having my own hair salons, but way before that, I was in a marriage breakdown, had really two young children, and I was just always in my, hairdressing was just something that I'd done as soon as I left school. The system was leave school, get a job, and I wanted to do clothes design. I wanted to do art, but the sensible thing was go into hairdressing. And so that was just my career. So at the time that I kind of was employed, but I wasn't really employable. It never felt like the tied down to this system of you've got to clock in at this time and clock out. I like the flexibility. So I ended up having my own salons. I've obviously always been a entrepreneur and that's what I wanted to do, design life on my terms. But then it kind of got to the stage, Robin, where it was like, the marriage broke down, my children were young, I just, things started to like unravel, the threads started unraveling in life. And just that didn't fit me anymore. I kept going with that because it's been something that I've always done, it made the money. But yeah, at that moment in time, that's when I started really working on myself, really, to be honest. But yeah, like I started out, life was pretty much designed for me, and it was.
Okay. Okay.
hmm
So let me just set the context. You're east of Edinburgh, is that right? Southeast?
So yeah, I'm just outside of Edinburgh, about maybe
Yeah.
20 minutes outside Edinburgh. Yeah.
Okay, nice. And was it two daughters or son and daughter?
Yes, I've got my two daughters. So now one's coming up for nearly 20 and the other one's coming up for nearly 15. So at the time that, I started doing things solo parent, they were like 2.5 and 9, about kind of that age.
Okay.
And I had my own hair. I had just taken on a new lease, a salon. And yeah, so I was in that fully because you're paying for the overheads, you've got the staff, and then all of a sudden it was, life just took a turn, as
So
it does.
you were balancing quite a few things then, school runs and
Oh, I
a
was
two and a
spinning
half
a
year
few
old. Who was
plates.
looking after the little one then whilst you were working?
Yeah. Oh, it was hard. It was really, really hard. And I think, you know, all the coping mechanisms, I suppose, try to come in at that time. And it was the first time, I think, in my life, from having things just been a little bit shitty in my past, not quite dealing with it, and just, you know, you just kind of go through. But that was the first time in my life, because you're spinning all the plates, you know, you're doing all the things, and you're wearing a new hat of a single mum and a business owner. That was the first time I just was like, do you know what? It's time to start working inwards. You know, what's been this, doing all the things, it's not, you know, I'm burning out here. So that was like, that was my first start in my journey, I suppose, for
Fantastic.
taking a
And what?
step back for that full system to lock in, to be like, right, I need to lock out a bit and start going inwards.
Okay. And talk us through, was there anything in particular that you came across? Any material, any books, any
Yeah.
inspirations that helped you get started with that?
Yeah, on that path. Well, it was actually, somebody had said to me, you know, probably a lot of people have heard it by now, the book The Secret. Do you know, somebody had
Okay.
said, have you read that book before? And I said no. So that got me more on the mindset flip of things. And then I went to like a therapy, but it was like EFT tapping. So it was like a talking and a tapping therapy. So it was working with your energetic systems as well as just talking, you know. So it was kind of moving, yeah, everything that was in your body. So it wasn't just talking and getting trapped there. So I just started doing that, and just really started to just slow down and focus and notice things and start working back, you know what I mean? So I could then start going forward with a total different frame of mind. But even though you do the work, Robin, sometimes you're still, you know, things still start coming and testing you, because even though I'd done that, you know, life was still like, here, there's another thing to try and get over.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Kids throw challenges aplenty. And I also find it's a bit like someone can give you like the parable of the sower, you know, a good seed lands, and then sometimes the thorns come or it gets parched in the sun. And that can just be someone throws a swerve ball at you and you feel down in the dumps, and you don't feel like any of it for weeks, sometimes months. And, you know, I find it curious and fascinating that you got into EFT, where two of the guests on my podcast so far are actually practitioners. So it clearly
Ah,
works. So,
it does. Because because it made such a profound effect on me, I actually then studied it as well. Something else on my on my
okay,
list
very
of
good.
things that I do, Robin. Of course it is, never ending. But it was back then, because I had seen how much it really had an effect on me and how much it can, you know, just change things. I just again studied it, learned it, and it's part of something that I can do whenever it's a tool in the toolbox, do you know, for life.
That's good. I guess what would you describe as some of the challenges you were overcoming at the time? Was it anxiety? Was it stress? Was it
It was,
something
yeah,
different?
it was depression, anxiety, stress. You just like, basically all of the things that start happening in your body. It's like that dis-ease, you know, total body indices, distress, because you're just pretty much just paddling above water, do you know, and that's kind of what it felt like. Do you know what I mean? I was like a wee duck going up and down. So I would just, yeah, and it was kind of like almost too, it was like the self-sabotaging, because that can come up
Okay.
as well, because you're not worth, you know, feeling like I'm not worthy of certain
Yes.
things. Do you know what I mean? And so that was obviously a big part as well, just kind of the self-sabotaging behaviours that start coming along because you are stressed and you're just feeling like you're not worthy of maybe moving through things and having a better outlook on life and a better life.
Yeah, for sure. I notice a lot of people who start out in a business, if they've been in a job or a situation where they're not used to, you know, the ups and downs of being a business owner, then your self-talk and some of the programs just kick in, don't they? And you can find
Mhm,
yourself going through months of not
mhm.
really addressing it. And then you realize, it's my self-talk, it's a program.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
trying to overcome those things. How did you overcome them in the end?
Do you know what? Action. I think that's what it is. It's like, do you know what? It's moving forward. It's taking that action, because we can be stuck so much in this process in our head of like, I'll wait till I'm ready, you know, I'll wait to move, I'll wait for the perfect moment, you know, I'm not ready yet. It's fucking go. It's go. Do you know, that's the best thing to do, because you're not gonna know if you feel better until you go do something to make you feel better, the action. Do you know what I mean? Or it's like, if you're a business idea, you're always going to keep talking yourself out of that. Oh, I'm not ready. Maybe it's not right. Then you go speak to people who aren't at that level of awareness, or aren't at that level that you want to be. And then they're going to talk you out of it. And then that's where the old loop will start coming in. And then you'll go, yeah, maybe I'm not ready. So the best thing that I've got over anything is, don't overthink it. Just go do it. Because then after it, it's all just data, isn't it? You can kind of like start figuring things out as you go along. So for me, it's action. It's action.
That's brilliant. Yeah, it's like it can be micro actions too, can't it? So they build up over time, and eventually you get to yourself in a position where you look back and go, actually, I've made
Yeah.
significant
How
progress
did I
here.
get here? This is great.
So, so do you recognize yourself anymore from going back to that moment when you had the two children?
No,
You don't.
absolutely not. Totally different woman, totally different. And I wasn't broken, but people would say, if you're looking back at that, the version that I was then to now, I definitely was more of that broken, you know, kind of avatar that you kind of say that's where I was. Because I just, outside people would have been like, oh, she's got it all together, she's looking great. But internally and behind closed doors and what I was feeling in my mind, absolutely not. You know, but then that's why now I'm doing what I do, because I kind of went through this myself with the self-belief, with the doing the actions, and it's taken me a long time, but I've done it myself. But if I had somebody to pull my hand up, and to that girl that was 11 years ago now, I probably would have pulled myself through a lot quicker. But yeah, don't recognise that. Don't recognise her anymore, which is a nice thing, because we're supposed to grow and evolve and work through all our shit, you know?
Yeah. So what would you say to her now if you had her in front of you now?
I would just say, like, basically just keep believing in yourself. Just keep believing in yourself, keep taking action, and get around more people that are going to elevate you quicker. 100%.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So talk about that then. You've obviously have had that connection now. What influences did you bring in, or do you think you attracted in that might have helped you along your way?
I think I've attracted them eventually, because I was obviously vibrating at a really low vibration, you know, stuck in this kind of, just this energetic field. Do you know what I mean? It just was low. And so I was starting to attract all the things that kept on saying, oh, here's another challenge, you know. So the more I was actually working on myself, the more that I was putting in the work, as in like being more self-aware, you know, kind of doing the tapping, doing a bit of meditation, doing a bit, just all the wee tools that you can do. It just started to naturally shift, and then actually removing things from my life that I didn't need anymore. Do you know, that's the big thing, is actually letting go of things that you don't need anymore. Like that, don't feel the fear to let go of that. And then I think after that, when you know, then things start shifting, and you do start naturally like aligning, and then you'll start seeing things as an opportunity, or people will come along to just connect and help you at that journey, you know. And I felt like I just started, I'm attracting them. Yeah.
So, Michelle, I'd really like to unpack that because there's so much in there. One of the things you said was, um, I was vibrating at a low vibration, and another challenge would come along, and another challenge would come along. Can you explain that for a lay person who may be not thinking along the lines of
Okay.
manifestation or
So
something like that?
so one of my biggest challenges was after, you know, I had the business, and I decided that I needed to let it go, because I was running ragged, you know, trying to look after a toddler at the time, and my daughter was 9. both of them in school. And I just was like, I can't do this anymore. I was working late nights and, etc. And then I ended up again thinking I had a house, it was secured, but it was like a rental. Then I ended up homeless, unexpectedly. But yeah, unexpectedly ended up homeless and packing the girls' bags, black bags. This was at Christmas time. So that was horrendous. And then, and I'd been homeless a couple of times from that. So me and the girls ended up moving, like, we never got a full settled house. I think we moved must have been about 6 times in a really, really short period. So that to me, it was just like that security that you obviously would need. It was like another hurdle and another thing. But then, light at the end of the tunnel for that, probably go off on a bit of a tangent as I do, but but when I was actually homeless one time, I've always loved writing when I was younger, right? Writing and being creative. And I remember just one night after being homeless, we'd got ourselves settled, the kids were still really young, and I was sitting there myself, they were in bed, and I remember just thinking, what the fuck? Like another test, like this is a massive test. Again, like what's going on here? What's the meaning of this? What am I trying to learn? Like what you're trying to show me? Speaking to some higher power or, whatever's kind of there, whatever somebody wants to call it. And this rhyme popped into my head and I couldn't get to sleep. It kept sound like a mad woman, but I couldn't get to sleep. This rhyme was going igglety pigglety pogglety poo, one holy sock and a smelly shoe. Right. Right. And I remember going, okay. And I hadn't, I was just in my bed. My daughter was next to me, but it kept going on. And then a story started attaching to it. So then I thought, right, this is a creative genius or creative madness moment. I'm going to have to get up and start, writing this down. So I just wrote it into my phone notes. And I think about after an hour, I'd wrote my first children's book, so.
Amazing.
So it was kind of like when the challenges were coming, and I kind of was like, okay, like what's the lesson I'm needing to learn? I took that as that inspiration, and then that just took me down a whole new path.
I think I've got to capture a moment there, because that sounds to me like when you stop and ask the question, what's the lesson in this? You get an answer.
You absolutely do.
And I think it's amazing that you recognized it and you took action. So you got this thing in your notes.
Yeah.
Then what? I mean, obviously you don't just get up the next day and write a book. Did that just stay in your phone for a while until you were ready, or?
Again, like I said, remember, like the just go. But I had it in my, so I had it in my phone notes, and I remember the next morning I was like, yeah, weirdly, I just wrote like a book last night. I wrote a children's rhyming book, it just came to me as if by magic. And that's what it was like. I didn't even have to stop and think. It was just like this, and I just, wrote it all out. Then I edited wee bits of it because I thought, well, that kind of needs to have a little bit more of a rhyme to it. And so I kind of edited it, left it for a few days, and then read it to the girls. They thought it was hilarious, because they were at the right ages for that. They were like, 3 and probably 9, 10. And at the time. So I remember I just said to my sister, and I read it to them, and they were like, that's great. You should find a artist or somebody that wants to collaborate and bring this to life. Why not? You've had this download or whatever. Just, why don't you just go with it and see what happens? So my sister actually gave me a contact who was one of her friend's sisters. She was an artist. And I got in touch with her and I just says, look, I've told her the story, randomly written this children's book. Do you fancy meeting up for a wee coffee just to meet each other, see if we kind of gel? And then we did. And then she read my book and she's like, I love it. I've never done illustrations before, but like, let's go for it. So, and then all of a sudden she wrote the book. Well, she'd done the illustrations. We found somebody to put it all together, and probably about, I would say, a year and a half later, and I moved house again because I had to get out of that house and move to another house anyway. And in the midst of this new book getting written, And then we launched it, I think it was just before 2020, so it was 2019. And yeah, I think we sold about 400 copies on our first launch. We just self-published it, and yeah, it was just, it was amazing. Do you know what I mean? Didn't know where this was going to go, so it was a great experience.
Do you now have two children's books published on
Yes,
Amazon?
I've got two children's books. The other one's called Flip Flop Flu. You can see where the Poggly Poo Flip Flop Flu. And it was because, again, my cat, well, I've always got a story. So my cat went missing for, was it 2.5 years? He went missing for 2.5 years. And I remember we got a replacement cat, because, you know, the girls were like, oh, Mum, we miss having a cat. So we got a replacement cat, got a kitten. And I got the phone call when I was just at the shop, and they says, oh, this is the Cat Protection Agency. We have your cat. And I was like, my cat's in the house. You know, my cat. And they were like, Tiger. And I was like, he's been missing for 2.5 years, you know, and he was, I know. And it was, but I got him back after we had moved, after I'd written that book, moved back into the area that we were in previously, where we had him, and he went wandering. So I'd just come back to live in that house. And then the cat was like, hello. So yeah, right. And then so one day, it was maybe a couple of days or a week after I'd came back in the house, kids were at school, and I just thought, I said to him out loud, I went, so where have you been? Where have you been? As you do, you talk to your animals, eh? And then all of a sudden, it was rat-a-tat-tat, rat-a-tat-tat. Have you ever heard the story of the wandering cat? And I thought, right, here we go again. And I just,
Amazing.
and while the kids were at school that day, I wrote the book. And I remember they came back, I had my friends' kids, so there was the four of them. And I says, right, kids, I've got a story. I need your feedback. And so that was that. And then
Oh,
just
I love the story.
same kind of thing again.
I love the story, and I love the fact that to a dog, you're a best friend. To a cat, you're just a tin opener.
Yeah.
They just wander in whenever they want.
Yeah, he probably gets fed by everybody up the street and then comes in kidding on. He's like, oh, I'm so hungry, so hungry.
So there you go. There's two books written in 2 years with very different stories, but something about the universe just giving you that inspiration, which I absolutely love. So tell us about some of the other business moments that have come up along this journey, because you obviously got out of the hairdressing salon. So what happens next?
So I got out of the hair salon, and then I actually ended up taking on another hair salon, but it was just because the opportunity arrived and it was in lockdown. So I was already kind of working there, just self-employed, 1 day a week. And the woman was like, I'm going to give this up. You know, do you want to take this over? And it was like, is this a moment that I should? Or, you know, and so I just ended up, I went for it, because I'm like, if something lands, maybe I should do it. And if it's only for a short time, so be it, or, do you know, whatever. So I ended up taking it on. So that was a challenge. And then eventually, over 3 years ago, it's about 3, maybe 4 years ago now, that's when I just, 3 years ago, that's when I said, right, I've done a couple of years in this. It's not aligning with me anymore. You know, I want to do other things. It's time to fully let it go. But it was a great experience, met some amazing people, and it was a challenge because it was within all the lockdowns were still happening. And so, yeah, that was a
People still really
crazy
needed their head.
business. That was like let's challenge it even more. But yeah, it was amazing. And then I suppose after that, it's just made me then write some more, because I had written, I've written my other book as well. So my other book, which was the Finding Life's Meaning in Your Mum Pants,
Yes.
which was I started writing that after my granddad passed away. Again, I know my stories all connect, but I remembered I think I was in the bath or something, and you know, it wasn't nice, because we thought my granddad had passed away peacefully in his bed, but he hadn't. So when we went up to go and see him, you know, he was on the top of the stairs, and it was just a bit, you know, it was just a bit of, do you know, and it was unexpected. And I was really close to him. And I remember just being like, again, just asking, like asking for a bit of guidance or a little bit of help. And it almost felt like it was him saying, you should write a funny story about parts of your life, but, and let's just like make humor, because humor can heal, when things are shit, you know, having, laughter and that can see you through. So then I started just writing parts of that, but I just kept going back and forward to it because I did have the salon at the time. So it was just something that I used to escape the mentalness of the salon and the noise, and I would just come and write little bits to it. And then it was actually 2 years ago, just before I was turning 40, I says, right, I want to finish this book. It's not a big, massive book, so I really want to finish this. And but again, I was busy doing other things at the time, and then I ended up burning my hand. So, right, I ended up burning my hand, and I couldn't work. I physically couldn't work apart from typing. So I was kind of like, well, I guess I've got time to finish this book, and so in the 3 months that I had before I hit 40, I just finished it up, went to my tattoo artist. I told him what I wanted on the book for the front cover, and we just pulled it all together, and I launched it on the day that I turned 40. So
looking back, congratulations, and looking back on that moment, do you, like, obviously you've got a real strong sense of purpose because you're a mum, but was there anything else occurring to you at this time? Life's moving me in a new direction. What did you ever ask the question, what's my purpose?
Oh, yeah, ask that all the time. Still even ask that now. Do you know, it's kind of like you feel like, not like, but not is there more, but it's like, am I living in my purpose or am I serving? Because I think that's what it is. It's like that act of service to others, like, am I living in that purpose? So, but I did, yeah, at the time, because I was, just writing my books and doing a bit of this, and I thought, am I actually living in my purpose here? What is that? What is my purpose? Show me some guidance. So yeah, I did ask questions at the time, but I suppose I I go with like an aligned that, like if I feel something feels right and I get this thought in my head and I feel it and I think, how does that feel for me? And then I just go, I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna go, because if it doesn't work, then it's just something that you've learned, or it's, yeah, and then you can go on to the next thing, and your purpose, I think, it's going to find its way to you. You've got to connect at some point.
I guess when you're getting downloads about writing a book, you're pretty clear that you have to finish the book. So that's a goal in itself. So tell us about the book. Obviously it's about humor, but who's it for, and what's the message you want to get across?
So a good few people that have read it said that it was almost like, especially for mums, because it's like all about like a single parent. So the character is based on myself, because it was like a single parent, finding their life's meaning in their big mum pants, just trying to like be the superhero and do everything. So that was the thought process behind it. And so there's parts of my life that are in it, but it's a character, and it's basically just a total made up story. But there is parts in it that was funny and it happened, so I remembered it and thought, oh, I'll put that, in the story. But a few people have said it was like they just felt like they felt seen, and they felt like they were related, and it made them laugh, that they didn't feel like alone in this crazy thing, because some women can lose their identity when they become a mum, because they feel like, I'm just a mum, so what next, or what after, and so it's so yeah, it's just a totally made up fantasy tale, but it's just got like humorous things that happens in motherhood.
Like you say, feeling heard, and there's some healing in there, I guess. And I guess now I've been watching you launch a podcast and do other things. So talk us through what happened next. So you kind of left the second hairdressing salon behind. You've written the next book. Then what happened?
And then I asked the question, like you had said, like, what's my purpose? So I remember asking that last year, or was it the year before? it must have been the year before. It was the tail end of the year before, because last year's when the book launched, the co-authored ones. And I remember saying, like, again, my living and my purpose, like, do you know, am I serving properly? Is there something that I should be doing? Like, I feel like I've got my own story can help other people, but I don't know how I would do that. So, so basically, again, ask the question, and somebody got put in front of me. They were doing a book series called Start Over, and it was talking about basically your well, everybody's got different stories in it, but for me it was more like my childhood trauma, you know, just going through that, like single motherhood, the homelessness, the identity loss, and navigating probably the postnatal depression, which I never knew I had at the time. Do you know, so it was going through all of that and then showing people that there's light at the end of the tunnel. Do you know, you're not defined by your past. So I just straight away thought, it's time to tell my story. That's going to be the one final healing part of my life journey, I think. Do you know, actually putting it out there for the world to read, no shame, and that's what it is. And so I just embarked on that adventure, you know, put on my rucksack and another adventure I go on. And so I started writing my story, and that's what's a chapter in that book. But what that did do as well is it did take me back to parts of my past, because, you know, you're unraveling and you're going through that with detail. So actually it was very cathartic and a healing journey all in itself, you know, doing that last year. Yeah.
Yeah, because you launched the podcast, and you also did the book launch, which I saw you doing, which was amazing. And I just saw this big bundle of energy coming down my social media stream, and I thought, wow, Michelle is someone I have to connect with, because you've obviously, well, I had no idea that this was the kind of point that you were launching, and you know, to a point, this was quite a brave move for you, because you'd obviously launched some books, so you had some confidence there, but you then thought, well, I need to get out there, launch a podcast, which you've done loads of amazing episodes. It's called the Whole Hog. Is that right?
Whole Hog, yes, Michelle Hogg. I just thought, well, I speak about everything and anything, so the whole Hog's kind of fit in.
It's brilliant though, because you're so open, and I could tell by all the other guests you have on, it's a friendly place to be and a place to learn, because yeah, we can see how much fabrication there is on the TV about real life events. Anyone today who honestly believes they're seeing the truth on the TV today
I know, switch it
needs to
off.
give their head a bit of a wobble.
Mhm.
And I know my audience is well switched on to all of that, but
Yeah.
it's becoming so obvious that, you know, whoever you subscribe to, whether it be a faith or a belief in something, a higher power or your higher self, that inner work is so important now to change the life around you. And, you know, I noticed you launched something called, you have a local club as well.
Yes, it's called, yes, so that's right. Again, I launched that last year, and I just felt, again, because of this whole online, and people are just doom scrolling and they're looking, like you said, so many bad things, or we're just getting projected with life that's not fucking real. It's not real life. Do you know, it's not. But you think it is, because it's a matter of fact. It's in front of your face. And I thought, we're lacking connection. We're lacking real connection now. This is a massive thing, and especially in communities. So then I was like, again, how can I pull women together? You know, like, how can I get them together? And then I thought, it's called the Fcck It Club, but FCCK, like, and I come along with a bucket. So I come along with my F-it bucket, and basically it's anything that you don't want to carry you gets chucked in the bucket. We just do a little bit of tea and coffee, some bonding, some chatting. I've had my glow sticks out. We've done some dancing, some meditation, and we've done like vision board creating the last time. Basically just to have something just once a month that, you know, you can come to. If things have been weighing you down, you just write it out and just chuck it in the fucking bucket, get rid of it, and just connect with some more women, because, you know, that is what we're lacking. So that was again, I didn't know how it was going to work, what was going to happen. I just was like, fuck it, let's just do it.
I love,
Let's just make a club.
but I really love the branding of the clothing you put out as well. So you got some really cool jackets and t-shirts
Yeah,
and things.
yeah.
So that's great. So what else has Michelle been doing in the last 6 months then? Because you've been busy hatching a new plan.
Yes, I know. It's ever evolving, ever growing. But I think that's what we should do. You know, I don't think
Absolutely.
that we should be sticking to one road. I think we should be evolving and growing, and then, you know, checking what's working. Is it feeling good? Is it aligned? And then if it's not, you know, don't feel scared to go do something else. We're not, you know, we get one shot at this, so, you know, go for it. So what I decided to do was, last year I wanted to do it, but I didn't feel fully ready to go into it because I was working, because I'd worked on my chapter and I'd launched the book. So I was getting into the process that I need this time to move through how I'm feeling, eh, you know, diving back to my past, so I can put myself forward properly. So I just didn't feel ready last year. So I left it, had to work on myself, had some lessons, which were blessings, and then moved forward with that. And then, so this year I thought, right, now I feel ready for this coaching. You know, I feel aligned with this now. I know I can help people. Like I can feel that, you know, now this is the purpose overtaking that now. So now I'm moving in that direction now of life coaching, you know, like coaching others, whether that be they're in the place that I was at, you know, 5 years, 10 years ago, basically to help them navigate where it is that they want to go, whether that's the healing parts of it, whether that's, you know, when it could be a bit of everything. Because even if you're going for a business and you're feeling stuck at a certain point, you know what I mean? You're just loggerheads. Sometimes it's just because there is all these beliefs round about you, or it can be things that you've unsolved, you know. So basically, it's just helping people get over their shit and move through it. Do you know what I mean? And literally, and start living the best life, because, you know, we aren't here for long. And if they're holding themselves back or down or questioning themselves or trying to move through something or start something, you know, it's getting that middle bit away to start elevating.
And I must say, like just to reinforce the point I said earlier about the news being all fabricated, but the constructs as well. Like unless you become aware of it, you don't realize you're carrying around a whole bunch of programs and living in constructs which don't serve you. Like corporate life. If to a point it kind of works because you can have a holiday in a car, but really, are you happy? You know, I've been in really high paid jobs where I'm so unhappy. I feel trapped. I just want to get out.
Yeah.
So you then have to do the inner work, which says, okay, if I'm not happy here, what would make me happy? And I just know that also, if you don't pick up the life skills over the years, you end up just carrying around baggage and being blinkered to the programs. And you know, you can carry this weight around with you for years and years and years. And, you know, by the time you get to my age, it gets tiring. You know, you're carrying around baggage and stuff that's blocking you for so long. So I have absolutely no doubt that you can help people put down the baggage, make them aware it's there in the first place. But also, I noticed some of the materials you're putting out there. It's not a clipboard and a checkbox exercise, is it? Tell us about the ethos of your business.
Yeah, because everybody is going to be different. Do you know, in general, like, you know, we're not all singing to the same song sheet. Do you know, we all have different baggage. We've all got different things that we are, or say if it's like people say like a success point of view, everybody's got a thing that means success to them. You know, success could be, I want to have more time to spend doing the things that I love. That's success to them. That's that life balance. Or, you know, it could be something totally different, that they're like, you know, I would like more money, which by the way isn't a bad thing. Do you know what I mean? Because then that basically can give freedom, or you can help other people with it. So it's not, it's not like but then again, it's like a money mindset. So everybody's totally different. And some people are just needing that healing as well. So basically it's working with people like they're people and they're not just like a program. Do you know what I mean? Like, do you know what I mean? Like running like a program. Because everybody is going to be at a different space in their life. Everybody's going to be looking for a different thing or a different outcome. So yeah, it's
Okay.
taking it
So
back to being personal, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
I love it. So what kind of things can people expect from the new business, Michelle? What kind of things do you offer? Is it one-to-one coaching? Is there a membership? Or...
So So I've just set up like a membership. That's literally just been set up, and that's going to be because I've been doing voice activations. So it's like where somebody can, they can listen into it. They're only maybe 5 minutes, but they're meant to just shift. So you plug in, you listen, and it's supposed to just shift you, or it can make you feel a little bit more present. Like, what am I missing here? Bring yourself back to yourself. So it's either voice activations, like journal prompts, one-to-one. So that's kind of the thing that I'm working on just now.
Fantastic. And if someone was out there now today feeling stuck, or just a bit trapped by their situation, either it's the job they're in, the relationships they're in, they just feel stuck, or fed up of doom scrolling, what would you say to them now?
So if somebody is feeling totally stuck, let's just say it's in their life in general, right? Because that can mean so many things. Because if somebody feels stuck, and it's sometimes like they feel like it's in every area. They might go, oh, it's a relationship, oh, it's my work, oh, it's this, it's that, because actually they're not happy within themselves. So it's just projecting out on every single thing that they're that they're existing around. So then it's kind of like, so what are you absorbing every single day? Who are you around every single day? Who's got a lot of, basically like what is right in your field right now? What can you start taking away and what can you start adding in to start bringing the happiness back? Because, or taking yourself away for the quietness, asking yourself some of these questions. And it's the questions as in like, I'm not happy, I feel stuck, but why? And then you write that, yeah, but why? Because you've got to keep digging that bit, deeper, because that one answer is never actually the one that comes at the very, very bottom. Do you know what I mean? It's like you've got to peel back the layers. So it would be, it's a process, but some people just say, I'm not happy because I'm not happy with X, Y, Z, with everything. But then it's like, you've maybe got to get yourself feeling happy. And if that is changing like the job or dropping the hours or having the conversation about your parts of your relationship that maybe you're scared to bring up, because you want to rock the boat, or stop spending as much time with people that are not bringing you up. You feel drained when you're next to them, or if you're, like I said, watching the news or you're doom scrolling, like, stop it. Just basically unplug yourself from that.
Absolutely.
Totally unplug.
That's fantastic. So, Michelle, I'm going to start to wrap up in a minute, but you have let's say you have a message to the world. I could put a speaker on now. We've got 7 billion people in front of you. What would you say to them as your message?
Oh, this is a big one. Do you know what?
Yeah.
I feel like this is the first time I felt under pressure, Robin.
Oh, sorry, Michelle.
Pressure. Like, do you know what? It would be like, just fucking go for it. Literally, just everything. Whether that is, do it scared, just do it. Whatever that is, and you, not to please everybody, for yourself, because this is not a dress rehearsal. We're no getting to come back and live this reality as this avatar again. So what are you scared of? Like, it's not going to matter tomorrow, and nobody's going to remember you in 50 or like whatever years' times. Just go for it. Just absolutely, you know what? And feel the fear, because that's good, and still project yourself forward. Go for it. No matter what, no matter the outcome, just go for it.
Absolutely love that. Yes, I do. And how about your children now? If you were to talk to them about their future, would your message be similar, or would you say something slightly different to them?
No, I say the same thing. So my daughter, she always wants to do traveling. So she's coming up for 20. And, you know, and I'm like, yeah, you should. You absolutely should. And then she's like, but I do know I've not got enough money in the savings. I've not got that. And I'll say, well, you could go and do charity work. You know, you could be picking stuff for people's farms. You could be helping build the house. There's so many things. I said, don't let the circumstances of that I don't have stop you from doing something. Do you know what I mean? I says, because my job for so many years, my first job has been making sure that they're protected and loved, and you know what I mean, and they're safe. But as they're growing, I'll be able to go do, you know, all day things. So I've said to her, you've got this freedom, you know, so if that's what you want to do, don't wait, like do it, put something in place. So I say that with her. And then my youngest daughter, because she's coming up for 15 and doing her exams, and this is the I'm doing my exams this year, and I'm like, again, that's not going to define what you're going to do, you know, in life. So just do what you love. And she loves art. So I'm like, perfect. Just focus on that just now. So no, I would say exactly the same thing. And I think pivoting and changing, I think that's probably the glory of life, isn't it? Instead of being stuck.
Yeah, totally agree. And like, you're designing the life of your choice based on promptings you've had and things that float your boat, that get you up in the
Very
morning
much.
and giving you energy. And I can see so much of that energy in your brand and how you're presenting yourself, Michelle. So I want to just tip my hat to you and say, well done. Your brand is, and your ethos of your business is amazing. So credit to you.
Thank you so much. That means a lot. I'm hoping that's what I'm projecting into the world. So that's amazing.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we're in spades, absolutely. So Michelle, tell us, where can people reach you? Is there anything you want to offer today that you want my audience to be aware of?
So everybody can reach me on so my platforms is Instagram, and I'm Michelle Hogg 111. TikTok, it's the same, Michelle Hogg 111. Got my little angel numbers in there. And then on Facebook it's just is it Michelle Hogg 111 as well? Maybe it is. No, I think
Not
it's
sure
just
it is.
Michelle Hogg.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's Michelle Hogg. So you can reach me on the platforms. That's the ones that I would normally go on. Would be Facebook and my Instagram, and then I'm on TikTok. And just now, yeah, I have a membership, but again, I've got that on my Instagram. It's on my link tree. It's got like if you wanted to have a one-to-one, like just a chat to see if we were aligned and I could help you with anything, that's on there. And also my membership, the link for my membership that I've got is in there also.
Perfect. Well, Michelle, it's been an absolute delight to talk to you and learn a bit about your story. And maybe we should do this again in a year's time and just compare
Yeah.
notes, because we're both on a similar journey. And from all of us, all the audience, we wish you all the very best with your business. And yeah, fantastic. It's been great to have you. You are truly unplugged and unstoppable.
Yes.
And on that note, we'll wish you well, Michelle. All the best.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Before you go, if something in this conversation resonated with you, if you're feeling that pull to change something in your life, then I've created a space for you. It's a free community where I share deeper conversations, tools and experiences to help you unplug from the noise and start rebuilding a life that actually feels aligned. Inside, you'll find things like my 14-day Unplugged challenge, guided breathwork, and even some of the music I've been creating as part of this journey. It's not about information overload, it's about transformation. So if you're ready to take this step just beyond listening, come and join us. We'd love to have you there. You'll find the link in the description. I'll see you on the inside. And if you're at a point where you're starting to think, there's got to be more than this, maybe I want to build something of my own, I've put together a free business brainstormer, which is designed to help you get clarity on what kind of online business might actually suit you, based on your skills, your interests, and the kind of life you want to create. So no pressure, no overwhelm, just clarity. You can find the link to that in the description as well. And all you have to do is complete a short questionnaire, and the business brainstormer does its thing. It comes back with suggestions, ideas, business models that should align with who you are. So if that's of interest, click the link below, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for watching.
Been walking down this long, long road, carrying dreams like a sacred load. Some nights heavy, some days light, but the soul keeps burning like a fire in the night. Every setback just a lesson in disguise, every tear a doorway helping me rise. 'Cause endurance is love in another form, a lighthouse standing through the storm. And in the rhythm of the real I feel it flow, life talking to me everywhere I go. Synchronicity, signs on the breeze, I know I'm creating my reality with the frequency I hold. Unplugged and unstoppable, rising higher still, walking into consciousness with clarity and will. Oh, sometimes the path moves slow like dawn, but the universe whispers, keep moving on. The right people show up when the hearts align. Perfect timing in the grand design. Every number, every line, every perfect cue, like the cosmos saying we're guiding you. And I tune my heart to that higher sound, where miracles start spinning all around. And in the rhythm of the real I feel it flow, like talking to me everywhere I go. Synchronicity, signs on the breeze, I know I'm creating my reality with the frequency I hold. Unplugged and unstoppable, rising higher still, walking into consciousness with clarity and will. Whoa, breathe slow, let the mind let go. Vibrations grow, rise above, rise below. Your thoughts paint worlds in electric air, higher states waiting everywhere. Trust the journey, trust the climb. You're in divine time and always on time. Where? Whoa, whoa. Now I'm living in a new state of mind, feeling love in places I used to feel blind. The whole world shifting when I shift inside, like heaven and earth had finally aligned. And endurance turns into effortless grace when you learn to let fate set the pace. Now every heartbeat feels like a sign. How magic shows up when you're in your prime. 'Cause in the rhythm of the real I feel it flow, life talking to me everywhere I go. Synchronicity, signs on the breeze, I know reality responds to the